Jim, we got a great game. It's the Blue Turf game. It's Air Force going to Boise State. Boise State favored by 72%. I'm saying Boise State. They've had they're 3-0. Air Force is 2-0.
Yep.
Boise State, they beat Florida State. And they're, what do you think?
Well, I mean, it's a matchup of total opposites. They Boise, doesn't run the ball as much as Air Force almost exclusively relies on the run. With only 1 week to prepare for you saw what they did. They beat Colorado. You saw earlier in the year, same kind of offensive team almost beat Michigan, talking about Army. So this one's going to be tough. Bachmeier, he's 927 yards already, 4 TDs, but he's turned the ball over 3 times. The quarterback for Air Force, Hammond III, he's only thrown for 155 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. The running game, both of them leading rusher, Remsburg for Air Force and Halani for Boise State, both have around 200 yards rushing. Receiving yards, that's the big difference. Shakir has 17 catches for 237 yards. But it's going to be close because Air Force is going to limit your touches. How many plays you get the ball, and Boise, are they going to be physical enough to stop that triple option? Are they going to be disciplined enough to try to stay in your gap and not chase the ball and just do your job? Because if you do that, you have a chance of winning. But Air Force hasn't beaten the caliber of teams that Boise.
Right.
They went on the road and beat Florida State at home, and then they went and beat Princeton and Marshall afterwards. But outside of Florida State, 10 points is most they've given up outside of that game. So they're pretty rugged themselves.
Mm-hmm.
But to me, it's just a match of polar opposites.
It's going to be a Friday night game
Right.
On ESPN.
Yep.
So it'll be
A lot of emotion.
a short week for both.
Right. Which helps Air Force.
Yes.
If it cuts down on one more day of preparation to prepare for that offense. And like I said, if Boise comes out, scores first, and they can get a turnover, then go up, that gets a lot easier. Because those triple option teams, they'll fumble the ball, but I just think Boise may be too explosive. But if we pick up the paper on Saturday morning and see that Air Force has won, it won't shock me at all.
So what would you predict that final score to be?
Oh, I don't know the final score, but I'm definitely picking Boise to beat them. A close one.
Same Boise State probably by 6. I'm just guessing.
Well, they're favored by 8.5 right now.
Yeah,
But that would be a fun one to watch, because you're going to see just methodical drives by Air Force, just 3 yards, 3 yards, 3 yards. And just keep, you're just going to, if you're Boise State, your offense is just going to be on the sidelines looking and just like, man, let us get back out there.
Yep, exactly.
But that one's going to be a fun one, but I'm picking Boise State on this one.
What's another game you want to talk about?
How about let's get into some bigger name teams. Let's look at Texas A&M playing Auburn. That'll be a fun one. Yeah, so Auburn traveling down to College Station to play Texas A&M. One loss A&M, they got beat by Clemson. Auburn's undefeated. The only big game they played was Oregon. And both of them played a couple of weak sisters of the poor last week to pad their stats. So
I'm really shocked that Auburn's kind of like the underdog in this game.
Yeah, they're the higher ranked team. They're the 8th ranked team in the country.
Texas
A&M 17th.
Yeah, and they're 8th. I mean, it's
so it leads you to question: what's Auburn doing ranked 8th? Well, you and I both know the SEC bias. They act like every team in the SEC has 85 Bears defense. And they do when you face those quarterbacks, but as soon as they play teams with good quarterbacks, they get lit up just like everybody else does.
You know, and A&M, it should. I mean, their favorite percentage-wise, 50 odds of win is like 53%, which is really high. You know, the home, going to play Auburn at home, and that fan base at College Station is going to be a great.
It'd be a great day atmosphere. I mean, Texas A&M's game day atmosphere rivals anywhere in the country. I mean, they take a back seat to no one as far as game day atmosphere, as far as I'm concerned. But these teams are almost mirror images as far as yards. They both average about 465 yards a game. Texas A&M only allows 268. Auburn allows 292. Can't hardly run on either one of these teams. But, you know, the teams they played didn't even try. The passing yards they've allowed around the same, 184, 191. But this one's going to be a good test for both teams, like
it definitely will be. I mean, A&M can pull a big upset,
It's not upset if you're favored by 4.5. But, Kellen Mond's been the A&M starter now for 2 or 3 years, and it's just I thought he'd be further along than what he is. I mean, they got that sham of a touchdown against Clemson, but they were blanked in that game pretty much. And Auburn's, Bo Nix, freshman quarterback. I think A&M have a few, disguised coverages for him to try to confuse him and everything. But who are you picking in this game, Mike?
I'm picking A&M.
Are you really?
I even have my top 20 pick have A&M number 11th and Auburn number 7th. So I'm not that far off,
right?
But I think A&M has more firepower, more of a home atmosphere, and the home crowd is like they said, the 12th man on the field. So
it's going to be loud.
I'm saying A&M probably by 10.
See, in my preseason, I had A&M ranked 17th and Auburn ranked 18th. So I had them right there together. I think I'll probably go A&M on this one too, just because I live in Texas and I kind of want to see Texas A&M do good, to win, to kind of fly the banner a little higher for the Texas high school football players. But this one's going to be a fun one, big time TV ratings, I'm sure.
And the weather is supposed to be really nice, 89 degrees at College Station.
That's hot. I mean, for Auburn, that's hot for their players. Texas A&M players are used to this kind of heat, playing down there. But so you might want to watch out for cramping and stuff late in the game on that one. But I'm looking forward to it. I'm thinking A&M probably beats them by a touchdown just because of the home
atmosphere, home environment. So what's another game you want to talk about?
This is one I was really looking forward to. To me, this is going to be the second or third best game of the day, and that is Michigan versus Wisconsin. That one's going to be fun. Big boy smash mouth football. So this one's going to be fun. Michigan's got to go play them at Wisconsin. Big step up for both teams as far as level of competition. They were both idle last week, so this week they're both going to be. They can't blame it on anything, not having enough time to prepare. But
I had Michigan 6th in my top 20. I didn't even have Wisconsin even in that ball.
I had them 5th. I had Michigan 5th, and I didn't have Wisconsin in my top 20.
They kind of came out. They surprised me this year so far. They're giving up 0 points. And averaging 55 points a game to Michigan's 32.
Right.
And then the total average total yards 517 to 396. Over so far 70% saying Wisconsin will win, Michigan only 29.
Wisconsin's favored by 3.5 in this game. Points per game, 55-32. Wisconsin, points allowed, 21-0. Total yards, 517. I'm going to go with Wisconsin, even though I didn't have them in my top 20. I think that Patterson will. He's rushed for 132 yards against Michigan his freshman year. Then his sophomore year ran for 101 yards. So I think he'll break the norm this year and get his 100 yards plus he'll score a touchdown. He's yet to rush for a touchdown against Michigan, but I just think that their defense is so stout. Not really a believer in Shea Patterson yet as a quarterback. I know he's got some big numbers. I just don't know if those are hollow, just because of the teams they've been playing.
They nearly lost 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, but, like we talked about before that game, I told you the Army is those service academies playing that triple option. It's hard to get ready for them boys. Like I said, they went to overtime, beat them. Oklahoma had to go into overtime and beat them the next year. So you don't get many chances. But this one is just going to be big guys on big guys. And this is football.
It's a televised on Big Fox, 11 o'clock. A great game. If Michigan loses, it's already, that's going to be really hard because, Jim Harbaugh is definitely kind of under the,
Well, he's oversold and underdelivered.
Oh, yeah. Many years.
But I don't think they've had that really great quarterback that he's been looking for, like what he had at Stanford.
Mm-hmm.
They just can't get that guy. And you would think that he would be able to recruit offensive linemen to run the offense that they had at Stanford, but his offensive lines just don't sit. But he hasn't, his defensive teams have been pretty good. You look at the NFL; they're stocked full of former Wolverines that he's coached. So that part of the game has been good for him, but they just haven't had all those offensive linemen like he had out at Stanford. They just haven't been as physical up front on offenses as they were when he was in the Pac-12.
And if I was a Michigan fan, I think it's going to be I think Wisconsin will score win by a large margin, and I like Michigan.
Really?
But
you think they're going to beat them by more than a touchdown?
Yes.
Really?
I say 21. They win by 21. But if I was Michigan, if Michigan loses, if I was a fan, I'd say I hope to God Ohio State loses just because it'd be a competitive game at the end of the season. But I think this will start the talk of what's Jim Harbaugh doing for recruiting.
Well, he recruits. He recruits well. It's just they've gotten pretty much the guys they've wanted. Just the guys haven't developed.
Don't give anything away. Don't give anything short to Wisconsin. To not give up 0 points.
It's hard to do against anybody.
Yeah, and the average 55. That's something to talk about. Your total offense is 517 to 396. That's.
I think it'd be more like 24-20, something like that, Wisconsin. But I so look forward to seeing this game because these style of guys, just the hitting that's going to be involved on this, the big uglies up front, because make no mistake, Michigan will bring some NFL talented defensive players into this game. And Wisconsin's going to have one or two offensive linemen that you're going to be seeing on the NFL for the next 10 years.
But look outside for their running game to really impact,
Yeah, Taylor,
oh, yeah.
He can, like I said, he can rush. He's rushed for 100 yards on them both times he's played them. So I'm looking forward to that. Cone, he's what does he got? 564 yards and 5 TDs,
and a cool 77 degrees at that game.
Yeah, that'd be perfect football weather.
Perfect fall football in Wisconsin. What's another game you want to talk about?
Man, I want to talk about Texas playing Oklahoma State.